Yay! All right, just one moment. As always, I don't know what's happening over here. Yes, I'm going live. You what? I can't help you. I'm sorry.
Yep. Okay.
Call AAA.
Yep.
Bye. What is happening? All right, hang on. What is my dog saying? That's what I want. That's what I want. And here's where I'm going to put it for YouTubers. Hey, you guys, 2v1. Hold on. I am doing lots of things here, and Amy just ran out of gas, but I can't help her. All right, we're almost there. Almost. YouTube's got it going on. Hey guys on YouTube, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Gio and I would love to know. Hang on. Don't want my computer to fall off the stand. All right, so let's see. I'm having a hard time telling what's happening on Instagram, but I can tell a little bit more. All right. How's everybody? Happy Monday. Gio and I are here. I got to put his cheese up on the camera so he looks up at you guys. And, oops, Siri, I don't want you.
I didn't get that.
Of course
Could you try
didn't.
again?
Sorry, Siri. All right, you guys. So, how was your weekend? How was Valentine's Day? We ate a lot off plan, and boy, whew, do I feel it. But that's not what I'm here to talk to you about. I'm here to talk to you guys about what your dog is saying to you, because believe it or not, on a somewhat regular basis, your dog is talking to you. Now, here's an example. This weekend, Amy and I did a local walk around town. We went down on the rail trail, and I got pretty far ahead of her for a variety of reasons. I had Jubilee and Gio. And so I went over this bridge that goes over a highway, and I was coming back over the bridge. So Amy and I are walking towards each other. And I had Jubilee. So I wanted her to call Jubilee to her because it was completely enclosed on both sides. There was no other place for her to go but straight. And Jubilee does, even though she's 13 or 14, she loves to kind of stretch her legs a little bit and run. She's always loved to run. So I went like this, like I was going like that. And in my mind, it was pretty clear, like, call the dog, call the dog. And Amy turns around and she looks behind her and she's like, I don't see anybody. And I'm like, call the dog. And we're too far apart for me to like scream this information to her. So she finally understood what I was saying, and she squatted down and called Jubilee, and Jubilee went barreling to her. And we were kind of cracking up about that, about all the things that Amy thought that I was trying to communicate when it, in my mind, it was so simple. Just call your dog. It's like a perfect place to do it. It seems really obvious to me to do it that way, but it was a little less obvious to her. Okay. So that's communication, right? And it was with body language, even though our human communication is speaking and listening primarily, but there's still about 80% of communication that happens with our body language as well. It's not how we stand, how we hold our arms, whether we give you eye contact, whether we can't get our head out of our phone, whatever it is. There's lots of other things that go into it. Okay, so here's another one. So Amy and I seem to be doing this funny thing recently where we're actually saying the same thing, but we're saying it in different ways, or we're coming at it from a different angle. And so we'll look at each other and I'll say, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like, what are you saying right now? And I'll say to her, so she'll say it, I can't think of an example right now. So that's just what I've just said to you. And then we start cracking up about it. But we're coming at it from different angles, or our approach to the conversation is slightly different. I can't tell you what it is, but it's happened a lot recently where we're like, okay, we're saying the same thing, just in different ways. Okay, all communication and all miscommunication, right? If we weren't I guess human beings, we can say, what the hell are you saying? Right? Then it's a little bit trickier. And so the point of telling you those stories is that your dog is communicating to you all the time. If they're sleeping, probably not so much. They might have a dream, but they're not communicating. But what dogs do with their body is not random. They don't randomly bite you. They don't randomly growl. They don't randomly bump into you. It's not random. Our behavior is not random. If you've got, Tourette's or something else, and yes, then you may have some random body language going on. But I think that's pretty clear, right? So our body language is not random, and your dog's body language is not random. Now, sometimes when I sit here, so Gio is communicating in a couple of ways. I was looking to see if you could see. He's drooling, right? So I've got a little bit of some spots on the floor down here. Salivating, which in this context of sitting here talking to you with cheese sticks on my computer and on my camera, he is salivating in anticipation of getting some cheese sticks. There's one. Okay. Sometimes if I talk too long and I haven't reinforced him soon enough, he'll start to yawn, or he'll do a yawn. That is stress. And he is stressed because in his little doggy brain, he's like, yo, Denise, I've been sitting here and like nothing's coming my way, chickie. So pop to, right? And he'll start to throw out, emanate, put out, display body language that says he's stressed. Okay. So particularly with aggressive dogs, there's a lot of communication that is happening. Reactive dogs, aggressive dogs, naughty dogs, dogs that you're frustrated with. If you've heard yourself say, I don't know, it just comes out of the blue. He's never done this before. It's never happened before. Pick your sayings, right? It's generally not the case. So dogs, if they're not sleeping and they're awake, they're almost always communicating. And if they're in a situation where they're slightly uncomfortable or very uncomfortable, they will be communicating a lot. Now, almost all of you understand the growl. Good. Congratulations, you understand the growl. I hope so. Right? The growl is saying, hey, move away, get so-and-so away from me, move the dog away. I need more space. That's what the growl is saying. I'm really uncomfortable. Could you please back away? Okay? That's what the growl is saying. We all get that. But do you understand all the things that happen before the growl actually happens? Because that is the sweet spot. That is where you can really make a difference for your dog. And it's subtle. It can be subtle. Dog body language is vitally important for all of you to understand, particularly if you're having some sort of issue with your dog. If they're reactive, if they're growling at you in the house, whatever it is, there's so many things that we owe it to our dogs to learn their language so that we can help them out, so we can support them when they need it, so we can prevent the bad thing from happening, the growl, the bite, the lunging, okay? Now, I'm not saying, this is a tricky topic. There are some dogs that are so aggressive, so damaged, either genetically, traumatized, parvo survivors, whatever. There's a whole ball of wax of issues. There are some dogs that, are just you can learn all the language you want and it's going to be a dangerous situation. Okay. That's probably not who I'm talking to. That's kind of the extreme end of this aggression thing. But if you could understand 50% of not only what your dog is saying, but how they are feeling, then you would be in a much better position to step in and support your dog, to get them out of the situation, to say, hey, could you stop patting my dog, or any number of other things. But you first got to understand that they are speaking with you. They are talking with you. It's not random. Like, I love horses. I did a lot of horseback riding as a teenager and in college and high school. I know, the basics, like when the horse flattens their ears back, like look out, right? I know not to walk behind a horse. Basically, you don't want to scare them suddenly because they are a flight animal. They're likely to kick out at you. A lot of other things, though, the nuances, I won't understand. I don't understand that. I need more education about that. I would love to know it, right? But I just don't. But I have the basics. And so you have the basics. Most of you will have the basics with your dog. You'll understand the growl, you understand the bite, you understand the lunging, the real obvious overt things. And what I am trying to get you to understand is that there are a lot of subtle communication that happens with your dog. And that's what you need to focus on. That's what you need to understand. I'm sorry, my brain is like, whoa! So there's never one thing. When I work with somebody that has an aggressive dog, resource guarding, interpersonal, they're aggressive towards the owner, they're aggressive towards the other dog, they're aggressive to dogs outside the home, whatever it is, there's never one thing I'm going to tell them to do or not do that's going to solve the problem. You have to think of it either as a big puzzle, and there's lots of different pieces to that puzzle. And when we get all the pieces that fit just right for your dog and your situation and things that you can actually do and follow through with, then we can make some headway with your dog's behavior. And so today, one of those puzzle pieces is body language, what your dog is saying with their body, okay? Because that's super important to help out your dog. I was working with a client a while back that had a fairly nice large breed dog, mixed breed dog. And the dog had lunged at people as they entered their house and was sort of targeting their face. And okay, so we problem solved. And when I would go, I would sit at their kitchen counter, a little elevated. The dog was in another room. When he seemed to be calmed down, she would let the dog out. And I started to narrate to the family what I was seeing the dog say to me. The dog would come up and sniff me, sniff my pants, sniff, the body parts that he could reach as I was sitting in an elevated chair. And then he would walk away. And I pointed out to her, your dog has not invited me to pat him. Your dog has not given me consent to pat him. He's only come for the information of who am I. So he's come up and he sniffed me. Now, there's issues with that because most people, if their dog walks up and sniffs them, they're going to say, oh, he wants attention because, I don't know why, because that's the way humans think. She was like, oh, that's so interesting. I would have thought that he wanted you to pat him. And I said, well, what told you that he wanted me to pat him? She's like, well, I just was walking up to you. I'm like, yeah, but that's not what it was. He was walking up to me for the information. Now, I usually have a big bag with me, or if it's winter, I'll take my coat off and I'll put that like in the doorway so the dog can come out, sniff that first, get the information of who I am. And sometimes then they don't even need to like come up to me and sniff me because they've already sniffed that back. Okay. So then I started narrating and I was watching this dog, and the dog laid down away from me, but facing me. Not random, not a coincidence. Wanted to know where I was. If he was totally chill, he could have gone in another room. He could have laid with his back to me. He could have gone on the couch. Nope. He lay down in the kitchen facing me. Okay. All right. And I'm sitting there going, I hear you. I'm not going to stand up real quick. I'm not going to walk over to you and touch you or pat you or offer you a treat. You're being really clear with your body language. You are just chill. He wasn't stiff, like I'm going to bite you. but he wasn't loose and wiggly either, right? Very, very important. So we start doing a few little behaviors, and as we're talking and getting ready, he starts to yawn. And I point out, so do you see that Fluffy is yawning? Oh, yeah, but he's napped all day. I said, it has nothing to do with being tired. Your dog is not, we yawn because we're tired, right? And we need more oxygen and stuff like that, but your dogs don't yawn for that same reason. I said, your dog is yawning because he's stressed out. And he could be stressed out because I'm here. He could be stressed out because there's treats sitting out on the counter, but he hasn't gotten anything yet. Or a combination of those two things. But nonetheless, he is feeling stressed internally, and he's expressing that through yawning. She was like, wow, like really? Like it took because in our human brain, we are so ingrained that yawning means you're tired, yawning means you're tired, yawning means you're tired. Great for people, but your dog is not a person. Your dog is a dog, and they have a different way of communicating. So I pointed out a few more things, and then when I went back a couple weeks later, hey Tracy, when I went back a few weeks later, she said, I have really been thinking about what you told us about how Fluffy doesn't give consent to be patted. And I said, right. She said, but he does to some people. I said, sure he does. And what does that look like? Well, he's bumping their hand with his nose, or he climbs up in their lap and sort of leans on them. And I said, yeah, all of that is saying, hey, please pat me, touch me. I like that. I enjoy that. But I said, your dog has never done that with me. She goes, no, I understand that now. And she said, I see him yawning like more than I realized. And I asked her, like, what are those times that he's yawning? Well, like when my son has a friend over, when they first come home and there's a lot of noise and running around and stuff, like she recognizes now that he's more on edge, and he's one of the things he's doing is yawning. I'm not going to get into all of them, but one of them, like, great. So what are you doing about that now? She goes, well, I put him back in his safe room. Right? That's just what we've called this room where her husband works. It's his office. And what happens? She goes, he lays down and he goes to sleep. Yeah. That's what he needs. He needs to sort of be taken off duty and stop doing that. So by pointing out just a couple of things to this woman and her dog, as we worked together for 6 weeks. And as we worked together, I would point out more and more things. And she was just like, wow, like it was so profound to her to finally be able to really sort of understand what her dog was saying and be able to know what to do about it, right? Like there'll be a time when you say, oh my God, my dog is yawning and Denise said that's stress, but I don't know what to do. Okay, like the first thing is just recognizing that your dog is stressed. Now there are other stress signals. It's not, there's a lot of other stress signals. It's not just yawning, but yawning is very obvious. And it happens a lot. Dogs will do that one a lot. So the other one, hey, Jill from Michigan and Mary, this is great. Recognize signs of dogs. Yes, consent or not. And Danielle is from Mass, and Georgette's here from Arkansas. Great, you guys. So I watched a client of mine. She had a small dog, like my little friend Yorkie here, and she reached down to pat him. And he rolled over on his back, and he had his tail completely tucked. Whoop! Completely tucked under. You can't see it. Sorry, I don't know what to do. The tail was completely tucked under. And you guys all know that's a sign of fear, right? And so I said, I'm not really sure your dog is enjoying that. Oh, he does this all the time. That doesn't mean he's enjoying it. Look at the position of his tail. Oh, he does that all the time. Okay. Yeah, he does it all the time because he's not really comfortable being loomed over and patted on the belly, even though it's your dog, right? He's just not comfortable doing that. Now, this dog didn't get up and bite him, but Amy and I worked with another client that also had a Yorkie. They would bark and carry on, and people dismiss it, say, oh, it's okay. They squat down on the ground, they reach for the dog, and he rolls over. His tail is completely tucked under, and then they go in to pat him, and he goes, and he bites him. And everybody is like, but he rolled over. He wanted his belly rubbed. And when I saw a video of what happened, I said, this dog is not asking for his belly to be rubbed. His tail is tucked. He's giving you in dog body language, the biggest signal he can to say, I don't want to fight with you. Roll over, bare my soul, I don't want to fight with you. And his tail is tucked. But he rolls over. Like it's just so ingrained in our stupid human brain that if the dog rolls over and shows us his belly, we must rub him. We must scratch him. Gee, that's stupid, isn't it? Can you see the drool? No, that dog is not giving consent to be patted, and we need to start paying better attention to it. Because listen, when your dog bites somebody or bites you, guess who loses? The dog. The dog loses a lot more than we do. And I'm going to be brutally honest here that aggressive dogs suffer more abuse in the name of training, in the name of I can fix your dog, than any other problem out there. Maybe recalls up there because people go to shock collars super quick for common call problems. But applying electricity to your dog's neck, putting on a prong collar, being dominant and alpha and whatever other bullshit you want to talk about is not going to fix your aggressive dog. And why? Why would we do this to our dogs? Why would we apply such harsh punishment, right? Your dog is entitled to be afraid of stuff. Your dog it's okay for your dog to be afraid of things. It's okay for your dog to be nervous. Gio is nervous around small children, and I have a new grandchild. He's 4 weeks old. No problems yet. Gio hasn't met him. It's going to be a long time before that happens for a variety of reasons. But I know that Gio is nervous around children that move. There's a yawn. Yes, perfect. Yawn. He's stressed. Why is he stressed? Because there's cheese up here and I haven't given him any. Maybe because I'm raising my voice. Who knows? But Gio's afraid of small children that move. So when this grandchild of mine and any future grandchildren start to toddle around, I will put Gio away. I'm going to say, listen, bud, I recognize that you get stressed out about young children. I know why that is. Not that I just happen to know why it is, but it doesn't matter. Even before I knew why it was, I saw it very clearly in him and said, okay, grandchildren, you're going to be on a different floor of the house. You can be in the bedroom with a bone. You can be in a crate with a bone. But I want him to be comfortable and want my grandchildren to be comfortable. And I don't want to have to be saying to the grandkids, hey, like stay away from the dog. Don't do that. Stay with. No, why would I want to do that? Just put the dog away. He'll be happier and the grandkids will be happier. Okay, so it is your duty. I guess is what I'm going to say. It is your duty and your responsibility to start to understand what your dog is saying to you because they are communicating. And once you understand what they're communicating, you're going to be in a much better position to actually do something about it, to help them out, to support them, to recognize, hey, my dog doesn't like, so Gio wasn't thrilled with therapy dog visits. I did it for a while. The first therapy dog visit we did, everybody was sitting down. It was at a high school. Everybody was sitting down. Fantastic. Gio was happy, bouncy, his face, everything about him said, I'm enjoying this. The next time we went, the format changed and we were in this big room and people were coming in and going out, not young children, adolescents, it was high school, in and out. And he sort of kept losing track of where I was. And I kind of watched him and he wasn't going up to people. He wasn't giving consent to be patted. He's not going to bite anybody. Like, I don't have that word. I'm like, wow, you're not really enjoying this. I think I did it one more time. I saw exactly the same thing. And I said, I'm not going to do it anymore with you. So I referred them to somebody else that has a great dog for therapy dog visits, but it wasn't, the kids loved it. The high school was having a great time with it. Oh my God, they wanted us to come like every 2 weeks. I said, I'm very sorry. But Gio is not enjoying this format. If we can do a sit down format, that might be better, but everybody wandering in and out is a little too chaotic for him and he's not enjoying it. So I didn't do it. I don't feel bad about it. I'm not disappointed that I can't do it because it's more important for me to honor the dog that I have, for me to honor who he is and say, he's not into that. All right, you guys. Dog body language, super passionate about it. Very, very important. It is a two-way street. It is not all up to your dog to learn English, and they do despite our horrible training sometimes, but it is really, we need to communicate with them, and we need to understand what they're saying as well, right? It's not, we need to understand what they are saying to us. So at the beginning, I will put it in here again. We have a dog body language, I'm gonna call it a webinar because that's what it is, webinar on February 23rd coming up, not yet. And, oh, for heaven's sakes. I'm gonna put the link in one more time. Hang on, I gotta get off of here, back to here, copy. And you're welcome. Oh, we hope you register. We had a good showing for, oh, there it is. It did do it. Sorry. Just didn't move this thing up. Okay. Dog body language seminar. It's coming up next week. No worries, but it is, it's really good. We have a lot of video to show. We have, we take some Q&As at the end. It's great. Gio and I will be there, Amy will be there, but if you want to start to understand what your dog is saying, you're going to have to take some training and figure this out, but your dog needs you, and your dog needs you to understand what they are saying. All right, guys, I'm signing off. I don't know about what's happening with Instagram. It doesn't seem like that's happening over there, but anyway, look for it. I will be back next Monday. I am headed this afternoon to Connecticut before the weather gets really bad in the Northeast to help out my daughter, Rachel, whose husband went back to work today, and she's still recovering from her C-section. She's 4 weeks post-op and a new baby, so I'm going down, Gio staying here. But I will be back, and I will see you next Monday. So any questions, we always check our comments. Please put your questions in the comment section. We'd love to see you on that webinar on February 23rd, dog body language. You'll be able to ask questions. If you have video you want to submit, please send that to me. I will give you the info at everything dog and H. You can submit video for review on the webinar. Would love some. All right, so there's the email address. If you want to submit some video, send it ahead of time so we can get all the bugs out and I can get it downloaded onto my computer, because that's how I'm going to have to do it. All right, you guys, over and out. It's been fun. See you later. I will see you all next Monday. Bye-bye. Bye, Facebook. All right, YouTubers, here is the info at everythingdogandh.com. Submit your video for review on February 23rd. Dog body language. Hey guys, see you later.